Time is a mysterious, elusive thing, an invisible river that slips around our fingers no matter how tightly we try to grasp it. A quiet companion that walks beside us from our very first breath, never speaking, never slowing, never stopping. And in the mystical Kingdom of Royam Dut, known far and wide as the Kingdom of Time, this truth held deeper meaning than anywhere else in the world. For in this land, every person was born with a magical, invisible hourglass tethered to their existence, its delicate shape unseen by their mortal eyes, yet ever present, counting down the grains of each moment in their lives, the precious seconds of joy, the fleeting flashes of sorrow, the long, slow days of waiting, and the brilliant sparks of celebration. The hourglasses did not measure a lifetime, nor did they foretell death, but instead they measured the rise and fall of moments, each sand crystal falling like a whisper, marking the end of one small piece of living and resetting again for the next, a cycle as constant as the turning of the sun. But despite the universal presence of these mystical timekeepers, there was only one person in all of Royam Dut who had the ability to truly see them, the Princess Elora, known also as Princess Elora, born with a gift as extraordinary as it was burdensome, her eyes able to perceive the shimmering outlines and glowing sands of the hourglasses that followed every man, woman, and child, a gift that made her wise beyond her years, yet set her apart from all who surrounded her. From the moment she was old enough to walk through the palace corridors, she saw them. The tall hourglasses floating gently behind the palace guards, the tiny delicate ones belonging to the children playing in the training courtyard, the wobbly hourglasses of the elderly who cherished the smallest joys, and even the king and queen's hourglasses, which gleamed with royal brilliance. Over time, Elora learned how to understand what she saw. The speed of the falling sand crystals told her how long a moment would last. The shimmer of the glass revealed its emotional weight. The cracks, though rare, signaled broken time, something amiss in a person's heart or mind. Sometimes this knowledge was sad, especially when she witnessed a precious moment about to slip away, unnoticed by the person living it. Yet more often, her insight allowed her to guide those around her gently toward cherishing what they had before it vanished. As a young girl, she wandered the palace gardens, approaching children with kind warnings. "You better hurry home," she would say with soft urgency, her bright eyes fixed on their hourglass. "Your playtime is almost over. Your mother is calling you." And somehow she was always right, and though people laughed at her intuition, brushing it off as uncanny good luck, she knew the truth was much more complex. Her gift had not always been easy. When Elora was a small child, her parents grew concerned that she sensed things she should not possibly know, though they never understood the source of her intuition. One evening, with the sky streaked in warm pink twilight, Elora sat on the edge of her canopied bed, clutching a stuffed toy, her lower lip trembling as her mother approached with gentle footsteps. "Darling, what is it?" Queen Amara asked, brushing a strand of golden hair from her daughter's cheek, and the little princess whispered, "Mama, tonight is the last night I have with my nanny." The queen blinked in surprise, shocked not by the worry, but by the certainty in Elora's voice. "What do you mean, my love? She will be with you all summer." Yet Elora only shook her head, staring into the empty corner of the room where she saw with perfect clarity the nanny's hourglass, its sands falling faster than usual, spiraling downward toward its final grain, signaling an ending. Moments later, the king entered the room holding a short letter and spoke in a heavy sigh. "Your nanny resigned, little one. She has moved to a new city." Elora lowered her eyes, heart aching. Her mother and father exchanged a glance, equal parts unsettled and impressed. "See," Elora whispered, "she left me." King Darnell murmured under his breath, "She is intuitive, too intuitive. This could cause her much trouble as she grows older." And Queen Amara, though troubled, held her daughter close without understanding the full truth.
As the years passed, Elora's gift blossomed, and with that growth came deep empathy. For she alone saw how many moments people wasted, how often they let the sand fall unnoticed, how easy it was for them to drown in guilt when those moments had slipped away forever. She saw soldiers laughing with their comrades, unaware their shared hourglass was nearly empty before war would separate them. She saw merchants ignoring their families for work, while the hourglass of precious family moments dwindled. She watched friends drift apart as the sands marking their time together rolled to an end. One day, she approached two brothers training with wooden swords in the palace courtyard. Their hourglass hovered between them, its sands nearly gone. "Your time together is almost over," Elora said softly. "Please, enjoy it while it lasts." One brother scoffed, unconvinced. "Princess, no messenger has called me to war. We have all the time in the world." But Elora only bowed her head sadly, for she had seen what they could not. And sure enough, days later, the call to war arrived.
Burdened by the weight of countless moments slipping away, Elora confided in her mother again. "Mama," she said one afternoon, her voice thick with frustration, "no one seems to enjoy their time. I cannot find a single soul who gives their loved ones proper attention. They waste their days doing nothing meaningful, celebrating nothing. They let life pass them by, and they do not even notice." Queen Amara, ever patient, stroked her daughter's arm. "You must let this go, my sweet. You cannot carry time for everyone. You have a kingdom to rule one day. Do not worry yourself with the problems of others." But Elora felt misunderstood, trapped between her gift and her loneliness.
Years passed. Elora became a poised, intelligent young woman, respected and admired throughout the kingdom, yet still undeniably alone in her understanding of time. Yet the day arrived when her world shifted entirely. The king approached her with excitement glowing in his eyes. "Elora, today is a grand day," he said. "I have brought someone for you to meet." He gestured proudly toward a young man wearing royal attire, Prince Edwoir, sent from a neighboring kingdom. The prince bowed with elegance, but before he could speak, Elora shook her head. "Welcome, Prince Edwoir, but no thank you, father. I have no time for princes." Edwoir smiled gently. "Perhaps we can take time to get to know one another." But she snapped, "I have considered it, and I will not waste my moments that way." Her father chastised her, urging her to be polite, but Elora was firm, until Prince Edwoir said something unexpected. "You do not like to waste time, do you?" She narrowed her gaze. "And you are certainly one to waste it," she said boldly. "Do you not care that the moments of your life fly past you like the wind during a thunderstorm?" He replied calmly, "I let life happen to me." She scoffed, "Foolish! You cannot appreciate anything around you if you are always rushing toward the next thing." Edwoir paused, surprised by her perception. "I have never thought of it that way," he admitted, sincerity softening his voice. "Our fathers hope that we will one day marry. Would you teach me to value time as you do?"
It was then he saw it, his own hourglass flickering at the edge of his vision. "What is that thing?" he gasped. Elora froze. "You can see them too?" she whispered in disbelief. Something extraordinary had awakened in him. She explained everything she knew, guiding him through the mechanics and meanings of the mystical hourglasses. But the more he learned, the more anxious he became. As panic swelled within him, the sands in his hourglass began to tremble violently. "Edwoir, calm down," Elora urged, but it was too late. The sands burst out, scattering like frightened fireflies fleeing a shattered lantern. His hourglass cracked with a deep, painful sound.
"Have you ever seen that?" he cried. "Never," she admitted. "We have to follow the sands. They are pieces of your time. If time freezes completely, you will disappear." Together they chased the escaped sands, following their glow through the kingdom. The first grain had lodged itself near a gardener, whose vines had grown in a tangled, frozen pattern around him. Time suspended mid-movement. "Time cannot freeze like this," Elora murmured. "It is making a mess of everything." They approached the gardener gently. His hourglass was stuck, its sands refusing to fall. Elora whispered, "The sands escaped because you panicked. We must teach this moment to calm down." Kneeling softly, she addressed the frozen gardener, her voice warm and steady. "Sometimes the greatest joy in life is simply sitting back and watching your garden bloom. The best things cannot be rushed. Find patience, enjoy the fruits of your labor." Slowly the frozen air around them warmed. The gardener exhaled. "You are right, Princess. The beauty is in the journey." A grain of sand returned to Edwoir. "One down," Elora said. "Two to go."
The next trapped sand was found in the palace courtyard beside a court jester who was repeating the same joke endlessly, caught in a loop of his own memory. "And then the monkey says," he repeated over and over, his voice stuck in a cycle. "He is reliving the same moment," Edwoir observed. "He cannot let go of the past," Elora said gently. She approached him. "It was a good joke, and the court loved it, but we cannot stay in the past. Moments are meant to pass. We enjoy them, then let them go." She offered him a new joke, and with laughter, his hourglass cracked open and released the trapped moment. Another grain returned to Edwoir. The final grain led them to a young boy named Clarice, who sat alone beneath an archway reading aloud, stuck repeating the phrase, "Once upon a time," again and again. But unlike the others, something deeper was happening. Elora's voice softened. "Do you not see?" she whispered to Edwoir. "His time as a child is nearly at its end. He can feel it in his bones. Soon he will be called to the kitchens and begin working as an adult. He is clinging desperately to his last moments of childhood." Edwoir's heart ached as he watched the boy's trembling hands clutch his book. "How do we help him?" he asked. Elora sat beside the boy. "We simply keep him company as he finishes his story. No moment ends painfully when love accompanies it." Together, she and Edwoir listened until the boy reached the final words, "The end." With that, the last grain returned to Edwoir's hourglass, sealing its cracks. "I must go now," Clarice said quietly. "It is time to work." Elora smiled. "Goodbyes are hard, but the future holds wonderful things." Edwoir turned to Elora, gratitude shining in his eyes. "You have given me an extraordinary afternoon," he told her. "You have opened my eyes to a world I never knew existed." He looked at his hourglass. "Will it refill?" She touched the glowing glass. "If you learn to respect time, yes. This was only the end of one moment we shared." He offered her his hand. "Come with me. I know how I want to spend the last bits of time we have today." They walked together to the palace balcony, overlooking the kingdom, watching the golden sunset stretch across the sky. "How is this for enjoying our time?" he asked softly. "Perfect," she whispered. In the days that followed, Elora and Edwoir spent more time together, slowly, carefully, appreciating each shared moment. They did not rush toward marriage, though both quietly felt they would be content to marry one another someday. Under their guidance, the kingdom learned to use its time wisely. Though the people could not see the hourglasses, they felt the difference within themselves, an awakening in their hearts, a new respect for the rhythm of life. Royam Dut finally found its proper tempo, And through Elora and Edwoir's wisdom, they learned to savor every moment granted to them. And so the kingdom of time flourished, each citizen growing more mindful, more loving, more present. And they all lived happily ever after.